All right, so now we've got our stuff all lined up. We've got the typefaces up against the right margins. We've got the right color choices. We've got the right text. Everything is falling into place. Now we're going to talk about proximity. And we want to put things in a right order. Now that we've got that repetitive pattern that we want and all the things that are laying out on the page, the proximity comes into place to make sure that we, again, have created this seamless journey for people. Things that are closely related need to be near each other. The principle of proximity just simply says that there's a spatial relationship between the elements of the design. That if there is a picture and there's a description for that picture, that the description is in a place where people understand that they go together. That there's a consistency and a continuity to it. We've got a great system. It's a proven system that people have used for decades now to make sure that we're setting our proximity properly together. And we'll show you that in just a second. When we create a layout, we want, again, proximity to show this goes with this. So for example, the picture you're looking at right now, we've got those yellow circles. And if you just had the yellow circles there by themselves and header 1 was up in the right-hand corner and header 2 was in the bottom left and header 3 was up in the top left, there would be no consistency to it. But by putting them in such a place where their proximity is consistent with each other, you know that yellow circle on the first one goes with header 1 and the next yellow circle goes with header 2 and the next yellow circle goes with header 3. By creating proximity, we're able to create a consistent design. We see it in the picture there of this page of this website here, and it's a simple design, but by creating proximity, we know that the logo up in the top right-hand corner is going to be the first thing somebody sees. And by giving them that, then we can give them more information in the left-hand corner. And then we can go down the design and say, now we're going to introduce the picture to you. And the picture and the words that are there, we see that contrast that steps in that we talked about earlier. But the proximity shows them that that picture is the most important thing that they need to know. From there, we can then take them into the picture. A great tool that is used for this, and I spoke a moment ago, is on the side of the screen there. It's called a grid-based design. And a grid-based design just simply says we're going to lay a grid on this page and follow the grid when it comes to our alignments. We're going to follow the grid when it comes to the repetition of things, and we're going to follow it most specifically in the proximity of items. That things need to sit in proximity on the grid as they're supposed to sit. Here's a great example of a beautiful grid-based design that then also follows that proximity. The titles up at the top are positioned properly. They're not set off to the side. They're not put in a place where you don't know that that's the main point. The proximity makes sense. And that's the most important thing when you hand somebody something, that it makes sense. And we want to lay things out in such a way where the proximity, the alignment, and the repetition, the contrast all make sense to them. And it's so important that if we put pictures and text and things in place, that they're in a place where somebody can easily and simply say, I know that this goes with this and that goes with that. When we don't give people that and we don't allow them just the simple thing of following a path, then they end up confused. We end up with flyers and brochures and websites and content that is hard to understand. What we're trying to do in this design phase, and we'll finish it up here in just a moment on our next lesson, what we're trying to do in this design phase is to remove friction, is to create something that is functional and usable. So often when we talk about design, people just think automatically you're thinking creative, and that's not necessarily what design is at all. Design is all about creating a system whereby people can get the most out of the information, where they can easily and quickly understand what it is. Some of the most beautiful, incredible, amazing designs of all time don't really have much creativity to them. They have a very simple, easy to follow look. You think about things that you use on a daily basis that are designed well, and the contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity all make sense. Think about something like a stop sign. There's contrast. It's center aligned, so you know that it's important. There's a repetitive pattern to it. There's a shape, and then there's another stop sign that looks just like it. And then there's proximity. The words are in the center of the sign. They're placed properly. They're sized properly. They're legible. They have a nice amount of kerning spreading the words out so that you can read them properly. It's so important that we create design that is functional and usable. Contrast, alignment, repetition, and proximity are such a huge part of creating that relationship so that the user knows how to use the design.